my experience of moving over to Europe was a difficult process. I got these opportunities through YGP, which I'm very thankful for, but I was not always successful in YGP.
Hello, and I'm Peter Stark. Welcome to Rock Run-Throughs. We've had an hiatus because of so many other things happening running this business, but I'm delighted to be sitting with a former rock school student and someone that we think of as a proud alumni. This is Milo Mills, and I'll say this a few times, but first of all, Milo, how can people find you on social media? Because we just talked about that you have this great vlog that you're doing daily.
Hello, yes, my name is Milo Mills, and you can find me on all social media platforms, but especially on Instagram at _milos.journey_, where I document my journey as a 19-year-old young man, young boy, becoming his best self as a ballet dancer and as a human being.
That's great. And we'll put the link in the comments below, and you're going to hear this again at the end of the interview because I want to make sure that everybody checks in. All right, so let's go back to the beginning. When did you start ballet and where?
I started ballet at the age of 4 years old, and I actually did not start at the rock school. I started at the local dance studio, which my dad put me in, and of course, I was the only boy in the class, which I did not enjoy. So I wanted to quit. I did one performance, and I told my parents I wanted to stop. But my dad told me at the time that he was going to find the best dance school, the best ballet program around. And what did he find? The Rock School for Dance Education. So at age 5, I started my career at the Rock School, and I gladly, proudly called this place my second home for 12 years of my life.
And well, first I'm gonna come back around again. But your dad is an amazing mentor and father to you. But talk about him because he himself is an artist, right?
Yes, so I've been very privileged and blessed to have a supportive family and people around me that understand the rigor, the commitment needed for the world of the arts. And my father is a Shakespearean actor and a voice actor. So having that exposure really has been a blessing for me and allowed me to realize the beauty and honestly incredible level of the rock school when I joined.
Yeah, both your parents were just so lovely and so supportive. And I remember that when I came to the rock school, you really had your heart set on going to Houston Ballet because you had been there the summer before. And I remember begging you, like, please, I teach guys, just stay for one more year.
Yes.
So you were training at the Rock. What was that moment like when you had this opportunity to perhaps leave and go to Houston? And then, I was trying to push you to stay for one more year because you were a local boy and you were talented, and I felt like I just wanted to have 1 year to work with you.
100%. I mean, having the year with Mr. Stark, Peter Stark, was a really monumental year for me because it changed my career in dance. And I had been at the rock school for, at that point, around 10 years. And at the age of 13 was when I switched to the full day program at the rock school. So when I committed to coming all day long and I switched to online schooling. And through that time, I was committed to Houston because I explored all the summer intensives I could, taking the opportunities whenever they came. And Peter convinced me, he presented the reality of the dance world that I can use this for more than just dance. I can use this as a way to travel the world and to meet new people and to really learn myself. So having the experience with Peter for the year was a life-changing experience and set me on the right track.
I want to say unequivocally that I think Houston Ballet School is one of the best training programs in America and one of the best male training programs in America. But when you're talking about your vlog to be your best self, I also think that you can't underestimate um parenting, and that kids need to grow up, and growing up at home, you get more parenting, you get more care. And some of my desire to have you stay was, yeah, I wanted to work with you selfishly, but I also felt like you had an incredibly supportive family, and another year at home for any young person is a valuable thing. Um, and I want to ask you about that. One of the things that's happened this year is Royal Ballet School has decided to up their entry age from 12 to 14, and they're basically phasing out White Lodge over the next few years because they saw repeatedly that young kids just are not emotionally equipped for the rigors of of the field and being away from home. And I know that when you left here, you ended up going to Paris Opera, which we'll get to, but Can you talk a little bit about that as a young artist needing that familial time and that parenting?
For every artist, it's a personal journey, and people don't realize that we dance to do the tricks, to do all the pirouettes we can to do, and that is completely valid, and we all love that. Let's be honest. But as well, it's the personal journey, and you don't realize that until you're in the position I'm at 19 years old now. But at the age of 14, 15, all I wanted to do were the big tricks and just dance, dance, dance. And it was the support of not only Peter Stark, but also my parents that allowed me to explore all the different facets that dance could apply and improve my life in. I was able to learn myself. I was able to try new things. My parents allowed me and supported me to go for it, to go off the Houston Ballet and realize, ooh, have my heart dead set on becoming a dancer at the Houston Ballet program. They allowed me to go experience ABT in New York City. They allowed me to go experience SIB. And I had the diversity in my experience throughout the US that I was able to be like, no, I want one more year with Mr. Stark to stay here to learn his brilliance, because he came from, we all know his amazing career that he had, his legacy that he has at Boston Ballet, and now and throughout the whole dance world, not just there. And now what he's brought to the Rock School was a complete new guard. It was a change. There was a legacy of beauty and certain concentrations at the Rock School that I grew up in, and Peter Stark brought a new outlook, which is always important in the world of the arts, in dance, because we have to keep improving and changing. So through the support of my parents and Mr. Stark, I've been able to become the dancer I am.
Well, and I appreciate that. Thank you for saying those things. But I will also say that a teacher has an influence in a young person's life for a very finite period. And in dance, it's usually, I would say, 1 to 3 years,
Yeah.
pretty much. Because even if you're in one school, you're not going to have that same teacher through that 10-year or 15-year journey. There's different teachers at different moments. But your parents are your parents for your whole life.
Mhm.
And even now, you're home visiting
Yeah,
your parents,
100%.
getting the TLC and getting their support. And I'm assuming that they've also been there at some of the hard moments for you more than anybody else.
I mean, for me, my career as a dancer, as a human, has been up and down. And I've been very lucky and privileged to be in the position I've been in, to be so close to the Rock School. But I've dealt with my own hardships, and it's been my parents that have allowed me to get through it. It's been the teachers, as we just discussed. Certain teachers in certain periods are my best friends, and sometimes I drift away. But I always know I have support. And a lesson that I've been working on is trusting other people, trusting the people in the arts, because it's such a cutthroat, hard environment. You never know what tomorrow will look like in the world of the arts. But if you stay committed, if you trust the people, if you're willing to take that next step, to reach out to someone, to put yourself out there, to be honest, you will figure it out. And through the Rock School supporting me, through the teachers at the Rock School, I mean, that was where I was really able to thrive. Through the family at the Rock School, I can name every teacher I've had at the Rock School. Some are not at the Rock School anymore. They've moved on to other career paths. But I will always remember the environment that the Rock School created has shaped me into the person I am today, because I spent half my life here as a child. It was the second place I was at if I wasn't at home.
I will say that when Bo and Stephanie, really gave me the school, I was hired from the board of directors, but it was with their blessing. They really gave me no caveats about style, about what to do with a nutcracker, what to do with a building. The only thing they requested is that I remember that these are children, and that raising a child and a person has to take precedent over creating dancers. And Stephanie especially said that to me several times. Bo said it to me too. I mean, I actually had conversations, even though Bo didn't come in at the end.
Yeah.
He was still cognitively 100%. And then there were a couple of early rehearsals where I got really hot because I wanted it to be good when I first took the job. And Stephanie, as quiet as she was like, Peter, you have to remember, these are children. They're just, Bo and Stephanie were really beautiful people.
Oh, yeah.
So when you left the Rock School, you chose Paris Opera, and you had some options. So talk about your options and talk about why you chose Paris Opera Ballet School.
So for me, my experience of moving over to Europe was a difficult process. I got these opportunities through YGP, which I'm very thankful for. but I was not always successful in YHP. I had my struggles, and I didn't grow up in the YHP system. I participated multiple times, but I wasn't as well connected. And through a second attempt, I was able to train with Mr. Stark, under Mr. Stark, and we were able to achieve what I wanted to of going to YHP finals. And at YHP finals, I truly told
And you got to
myself,
the final round, which is
at
a
the
big deal.
finals, I went to the YHP finals and advanced to the final round. And what I told myself is I was there to dance and show who I am as a dancer, which for me is all about presentation, artistry, and entertaining someone, allowing them to feel something. And through that really hard experience, because it's very complicated being a young person in the world of dance, competing with others, but also wanting to work because they're your best friends, but also your biggest competitors. But through YGP, I was offered 8 scholarship opportunities all across
That's a lot.
the US and in Europe. And through these 8 scholarship opportunities, I had multiple options of Europe or the States. But of course, Paris Opera, being the prestigious and school that we all know it is and program that it is, they were not at the YGP finals, and they had seen my variations, my videos, but they were not there to offer anything. So they invited me for a private audition. With these 8 options, though, financially, ballet is hard on all of us, but I knew I wanted to go to Europe. So I made a deal with my parents that we would do a European tour, which is where we visited 3 of my scholarship opportunities. So I did short terms at the John Cranko School, the Zurich, and at Paris Opera, I did a private audition. And through each of those experiences, I got to see the program, see the facilities, and I loved them all, and they're all very different. But in the end, Paris Opera stuck out to me because as an American, I went into that school as the only American. I was in a program of all French kids where the primary language was French, where the primary style
And
was
you learned
French.
French in like 6 months.
And exactly, I had to dive into that environment. I had to fully commit myself. And for me, as I kind of always round back to, I danced to become my best self. And I learned so much about myself in that process. Negatives, positives, confusing things, weird things, but it allowed me to grow into myself. So Paris Opera was the option because it was unheard of for someone. I had to do it for the storyline, for the plot. So
And
I
but
took the opportunity.
and you were also featured in their performance.
Yeah.
Your parents sent me a little bootleg video, which I probably shouldn't say, but they did. It was just a short excerpt. But there you were, doing a beautiful
Yeah.
pas de deux, featured on
I mean,
the amazing Paris Opera stage.
yeah, Patagonia.
Yeah.
It was an amazing experience for me because it was an exposure to a completely new environment, and I got an opportunity in my first year being there to do the main pas de deux, the main pas de deux of Sweet en Blanc, and it's such a prolific, historic French piece of beauty. So to be able to have that experience and work alongside of the staff there allowed me to learn so much, and I was able to do it because I was fostered and nurtured in such an open environment for going for it at the Rock School, I believe.
Oh, I mean, again, everybody has their moment. So, and will you keep up your French language skills, you think? Yeah.
That is my biggest goal.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I'm very social. I love to speak, and when I moved to France, I lost all that. I lost all that, and now the fact that I can proudly say that I'm conversationally fluent, it is my biggest goal to keep my French. So if you speak French, please reach out to me. Let's talk.
Okay.
It's always a work in
Très
progress.
bien.
It's always working.
And you really do need to keep up with it.
It's
So then after
daily.
2 years of Paris Opera, you made the move to
Yeah,
Dutch
so
National Ballet School. So talk
exactly.
about that.
So after 2 years attending the Paris Opera Ballet School, I graduated. I received my diploma, and I am now doing a final year of training and fine tuning at the Dutch National Ballet Academy, where I am focusing on getting a job for the next year and really exploring what I want as a dancer. I had the experiences, and now it's on me to decide.
So, these are both outstanding organizations. And one of the things I think that's challenging with ballet is that it's an art. So it's based on opinion. Some people like Monet, some people like Picasso, some people like red, some people like blue. What are some of the differences, pro and con? Not that obviously these are two outstanding organizations. They're both, are amazing and wonderful. But what are some of the differences that you see in the environment and in the training between Paris Opera and Dutch National, which would be helpful, I think, for young dancers looking at some of those same opportunities as a dream that they might have.
Mm. I think you start out with what do you want as a dancer. Each experience as mentioned, has its pros and cons. At the Paris Opera Ballet School, it is a French institution. It is a French institution of legacy, of respect, of culture, of history. So you will go into that program and you will get an unedited, unfiltered view of what a French dancer's life is, what it is like as a Parisian dancer, what it is like as a dancer upholding the history of the company, of Palais Garnier, of Rudolf Nureyev. You get all of that history, and it is ingrained in everything you do. So if you are committed to really learning the history of a program, that is the place I'd go to, because they are very based in their ideas, and
It's where ballet started.
it's the origin. It is the origin
It
story.
is the origin.
If you want the source, if you want the source material, you go there,
Yeah.
and it opens up a new side of you, because everyone can come out of the school and know a little bit, but it's not until you experience it that you're really like, wow, this is where dance began, guys. Like, it is the original place. So it has its limitations in the way it can expand, because it is rooted in this pure dance, this pure form. So that is, of course, a pro, but also a con for someone that wants to diversify and try new things.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Dutch National Ballet Academy has been a place for me to find myself, because as a dancer, we get a lot of opinions and we get guidance and good and bad and tips, tricks, whatever we want to call it, from teachers and leaders. What the Dutch National Ballet Academy has done for me is allowed me to explore who I am as a dancer. They've provided a beautiful framework, a beautiful program where I'm able to dance every day and feel empowered to be myself as a dancer. You know, Dario Elia, the director of this, the new announced artistic director of the school, congrats. He has been really amazing for me, because I came into the program.
And he's a similar dancer to you, because he's a big
He's
guy.
Exactly. And it's been amazing working with him, because he's really shown me that it's on me to become who I am. And they are there. The staff is there. He is there to help me become who I want to be as a dancer, which is really great for anyone looking at an opportunity. Both, you want the history, you want rigor in the very much the structure of what you're going to be learning. There's Paris Opera for you right there. If you want to be able to explore yourself as a dancer, but also have a real modern take on the world of dance and how it's moving forward, Dutch National Ballet Academy is great.
Both companies in the Netherlands, NDT and Dutch National, are known for classically trained dancers who can really also do contemporary work.
Oh, yeah.
So how does that manifest itself in the school environment, that they're developing that that comprehensiveness of versatility of types of movement?
At the Dutch National Ballet Academy, there's a real sense for exploration. There's a real sense of, how can we move? How can we make this into a bigger form that doesn't have to stick to what the basic squares and triangles
in the ballet
are saying?
Class?
But in the way you hold yourself, in the way you move, there's a real sense of movement. There's a real sense of presentation, which I haven't gotten from other programs. And you see it in the dancers, and you see it in NBT and in all their beautiful movements, because I've been privileged to go be able to watch them, and in the company when I've been able to do an internship with them. The movement qualities of Dutch National is what I believe is so passionate, so passionate and powerful.
And that is addressed even in a traditional ballet class.
Yeah.
And then are there other contemporary classes in addition to that?
Yeah. So at the program, I get a lot of exposure to new works, new ways of moving, a new base of.
So you're actually learning choreography as well?
Yes, so we've been able to learn the Dutch National official choreography of multiple pieces. I've been able to take class with previous dancers, current dancers, and I've been able to take class with the company. So there's a real connection in the environment there, which I really...
Well, one of the things that we've all been watching as managers in the field, it's really great to see that this, because there's been a big transition with Ted Branson going out and Ernst moving in, but that it's all people within the organization that are moving forward and up, so that there's obviously a nurturing of this sort of stepped process and creating an environment of care and I'm not sure how else to say it.
No, of fostering a certain growth in the students and the environment that they create, and it's seen throughout the school, into the company, in the junior company as well, and it's a really amazing.
Yeah, because Chris was also had his whole career there and was there before he went to Royal and is now back. So they've really I guess they've circled their wagons.
They've circled their wagon.
Yeah.
but it's in a different way than Paris Opera, for example, because
Correct. Yeah.
every staff member there literally danced in the company, has had a prolific, amazing career with the company. Same with Dutch National. But with Dutch National, they're also moving forward. They're breaking barriers.
Yeah.
They're creating new things. They're thinking of they are committed to the future of dance. You understand this from a manager's side of going to these meetings and moving dance forward. They are committed to each dancer becoming their best selves, including everyone, giving opportunity. It's a really amazing program to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I like to say is that, dancers are better now. You guys are better than we were, and that's how it should be. So you look at
Yes.
an old video of, even you mentioned Arayef, and
Yeah.
of course, in one regard, there'll never be another, and it was great. But in another regard, he's not as flexible as you are, for
Exactly.
instance.
Yeah.
So then how do we take the best of the past and then keep pushing it forward?
Yeah. What do
Olympics
we
are the
take?
same,
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
it's a triple, it's a quad, people are always jumping higher, going faster. And so how do we do that with integrity and care and all?
So personally, for me, I believe that the arts in Europe are supported in a different way than in the States. And that is an honest truth, but it is something that we are all working on in the States to bring awareness and support to the arts. Fully support funding arts. We need more funding. Let's get to it because we are beautiful.
Yeah, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican. And if you look, I always say what remains of a culture is the arts.
100%.
We don't talk about the politics of other cultures. 100%. We talk about what the arts are.
What we create from it. And for me, in my experience, I believe that Europe has had better support for the arts. So I moved to Europe to feel the support, feel governmental support, feel the public support of the arts, feel the public's respect for the arts, because we work so hard on the daily. We create so much beauty. But they don't know how much we're working hard. In Europe, they do, though, because they realize, they understand the beauty and the power that art has.
Many years ago, I had a student that got into Stuttgart Ballet, and he sent me a text. He said, "Mr. Stark, we did an outside performance in Stuttgart, and 10,000 people came." And he was just so blown away. It was like a sports arena for ballet.
100%.
When was the last time you went to a ballet in America where 10,000 people showed up?
10,000 people, a sold out crowd.
Yeah.
In Paris, in Amsterdam, it is absurd to get tickets. You have to fight tooth and nail. Your mother has to become best friends with the ticket ladies. You have to work. You have to find your ways. It's the resale market. Yeah. It's literally sporting events are ballet performances in Europe, and it's really beautiful. And that's what I really appreciate about it, because I can see I have real value in it.
Well, we'll definitely be following you and put a follow-up to where you ended up. But I want to end where we started. So you have this Instagram profile and actually these shorts on YouTube, which actually have come up on my feed organically because I wasn't searching you out. And it's like, oh, wait, there's Milo working out. There's Milo having breakfast.
There he is.
So share with our audience some of what you shared with me about how long you've been doing this, why you're doing this, and what the motivation is through this process.
So my handles for everything is _Milos.journey_. MILOS.journey_. And this is an unedited, unanythinged view into my life as a dancer. I went off to Paris Opera Ballet School and I learned a lot about myself. I experienced loneliness, depression, and a lot of stuff I don't want anyone else to experience. So my personal goal now, my why, my reasoning for becoming the person I am is because I never want anyone else to feel alone and be scared to chase your dreams. Because I believe everyone deserves to do that. No matter what position you're in, there are people around you supporting you, and you deserve to go after whatever you want. So I'm a ballet dancer, yes, but I'm Milo Mills, first of all. I'm diversifying my life. I'm looking at financial opportunities. I'm looking at new ways to make money, to experience the world, to travel. So my social media is a real life look into someone becoming their best self. If you want to become your best self, feel better about yourself, relate with someone, come follow my page, come interact, and I'm going to build the strongest community of young people becoming their best selves. And I'll do that through my daily content, which I've done for 280 days now, almost 300, almost a year coming up in a few months, and as well through creating an online community. This online community is where I'm going to personally deep dive into how I've become the person I am, build out programs where you can do the same exact thing and interact, have real conversation.
We're going to put Milo's journey links in the comments below, so you can follow him on all the social media platforms. We are rooting for you. I always say when somebody leaves the school that you're part of our ballet family. You have your friend's family, you have your family that you're born into, and then you have a ballet family. And this whole dance world is really small, and we're just delighted that you came back and visited, and we can't wait to next time, and we can't wait to the update.
Yes.
Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Changing the things I can no longer accept.